Hello everyone, this is Dr. Priyanka Agarwal here. In this video, we are preparing Pharmacodynamics for our BDS second year exam. Okay, so what do you mean by pharmacodynamics? So pharma is drug, dynamics is what it is doing. Okay, so pharmacodynamics is the study of drug effects, how they do it and what they do it and how they do it. Okay, so coming to important questions from this chapter, so we have 5 questions. All these will be covered in 3 parts. Okay, so this video is part 1 and will be focused on these 2 questions. By the end of the video, you will be exam ready for these 2 questions. Okay, so let's start. So before going to the questions, we need to understand something about dose-response relationship. Okay, so this as such will not be asked in exam, but we need to know this to understand coming to questions. Okay, so what do you understand by dose-response relationship? So with increase in dose, so when you are increasing the dose, variation in clinical response, whether the response is increasing, how much it is increasing or it is decreasing, it is defined by dose response curve. Okay, which is nothing but DRC. So this DRC has rectangular hyperbola as its shape. Okay, so what does this what does this make us understand? So initially with increase in dose, there is increase in the response. Okay, till the maximum response is reached. Okay, so till the maximum response is reached, with increase in dose there is increase in the response. But once the maximum response is reached, even though you increase the dose, there is no increase in the response. Okay, so this is what we understand by dose response relationship. Now let's come to our question. So what do you understand by drug potency? So this refers to amount of drug needed to produce a certain response. Okay, you can understand here by this graph. So drug potency is the dosage. Okay, it is the dosage that is needed to produce a certain response. Okay, understood? So remember this. How will you remember it? So remember P, if you reverse it, it becomes the D, right? It becomes the D, right? So it refers to amount of drug. Okay, so it is the dosage, okay, needed to produce a certain response. So on DRC, what is the index of it? So on dose axis, the position of DRC, so on the dose axis where the DRC is coming, that is the index of drug potency. Okay, so if on the dose axis the position of DRC is the index of drug potency, understood, right? If it is leftward, it indicates higher potency. If it is rightward, so if it is positioned leftward, it indicates more potency. If it is positioned rightward, it indicates less potency, right? How? Because to produce this much of response, you need only this much of dose. Okay, so this drug is more potent. That makes sense, right? Right. So coming to example here, so we have 10 milligram of morphine which is giving equal effect as 100 milligram of pethidine. Now you tell me which is more potent drug here? Obviously morphine, right? So morphine is 10 times more potent than pethidine, because to get same amount of effect you need only 10 milligram here, whereas here you need 100 milligram. Okay, now drug potency will help us to determine the dose of the drug. Okay, so I hope you understood this simple 4 points about the drug potency. Okay, now let us see drug efficacy or maximal efficacy. So drug efficacy is the term used in Tripartite. Maximal efficacy, it is the term used in Padmaja. Okay, so both questions are same. Okay, so this refers to what? So this refers to maximum response produced by the drug. So how will you remember it? If you write just E, then you can write the R here, right? So remember like that. So it is the maximum response, okay, produced by the drug. So on DRC, on dose response curve, how do you understand it? So on the DRC, the highest point of the DRC, okay, is the index of drug efficacy. Okay, so this is more efficacious drug than this. Okay, understood? So upper limit of DRC is the index of drug efficacy. Coming to example here, morphine give analgesia not given by any dose of aspirin. So you take any dose of aspirin, it will not give this much of response. Okay, So which drug is more efficacious here? Obviously morphine, right? So to make it simple, I took the same example like morphine and morphine. So morphine is more potent and morphine is also more efficacious in both the examples. Okay, so what does this help us? It is a decisive factor in choice of the drug. So which drug should you use? Okay, which depending on the amount of response you need, you can choose the drug. Okay, so this is about drug potency and drug efficacy. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. So this is the amount of drug that is needed to produce the response. Okay, so it is the dosage, whereas this is related to the effect. Okay, so this is related to the response. Here it is on the dose axis. So potency is related to the dose axis, whereas efficacy is related to the response axis. Okay, third point is about the examples. Fourth point is this help to determine the dose. This is the decisive factor in choice of the drug. Okay, so I hope this is very clear to you. Okay, so before going to the next question, I want to share something with you. Okay, you can also join me for customized daily classes, and with these essential resources, we will make your exam preparation smooth and successful. So let's come to the next question, that is therapeutic index or safety margin of the drug. Okay, so this is again a very important question. So what do you understand by this? So a drug can have different DRCs for different actions. Okay, so like for example, salbutamol can have one DRC, one dose response curve for bronchodilation action and another curve for cardiac stimulation action. Okay, so like this, the gap between DRC of therapeutic effect. So imagine this is the dose response curve for therapeutic effect and this is the dose response curve for adverse effect. Okay, so this gap, the gap between the DRC of therapeutic effect and DRC of adverse effect will define the safety margin or therapeutic index of the drug. So understood? So basically it is telling how much dose like you can give in between the therapeutic effect and the adverse effect. Okay, so in that range the drug is safe. Okay, so this is telling us about the safety of the drug. So how do we calculate it? It can be calculated as LD50 by ED50. Now what is this LD and ED? So LD is median lethal dose. That means dose that is lethal, means that is that is killing 50% of the population. Okay, and dose that is effective, that is producing positive effects in 50% of population. So if you just use this formula, we get therapeutic index. Now what is the clinical significance? So it gives idea about the safety of the drug, that we already understood. So higher the therapeutic index, safer is the drug. Okay, next, so therapeutic index must be more than 1 for the drug to be reasonably safe. Okay, now therapeutic index can vary from drug to drug. Okay, penicillin has high therapeutic index and digoxin has low therapeutic index. Okay, and it can also vary for different actions of the same drug. For the same drug, different actions also we can have different therapeutic index. Okay, for example, aspirin has different therapeutic index for anti-inflammation and analgesic action. Okay, so this is about therapeutic index. Okay, so I hope you understood this. So we have read therapeutic index in these 4 simple points. So what does this mean, how do we calculate it, and what is the clinical significance? Okay, so I hope both the questions are very clear and easy now. Okay, so if you want to check out other videos, you can click on the screen now. Okay, so let's meet in the part 2 of pharmacodynamics.